The night sky over province burned orange and red. Farmers looked up from their fields. Children pointed at the falling star, but it was not a star, it was something much bigger. The massive ship came down through the clouds like a wounded bird. Fire trailed behind it for kilometers. The sound was like thunder that never stopped. Windows broke in nearby towns. Car alarms screamed. Dogs howled and ran. When the ship finally hit the mountains, the ground shook for 100 kilometers in every direction. Trees fell. Rocks tumbled down hillsides. A cloud of dust and smoke rose so high that people in Seoul could see it. Captain Nara stood on the bridge of the Bright Wanderer and watched the damage reports come in. Red lights flashed everywhere. Alarms rang without stopping. Her crew ran back and forth, trying to save what they could save. "The fusion core is cracked," her engineer reported. His blue skin had turned pale with fear. "We cannot fix it, not here, not with what we have." Nara closed her 4 eyes and let out a long breath. They had traveled across the galaxy to escape their enemies. They had jumped from system to system, always running, always hiding, and now their ship had finally given up. "How long to repair?" she asked. 30 of this planet's years, maybe 40, and that is if we find the right materials. 30 years. The Dominion would find them long before then. They were always hunting, always searching. They had they had killed billions. They would not stop until every was dead. "Prepare the emergency shuttle," Nara ordered. "We leave at dawn." Her first officer looked at her with shock. "Captain, the ship." "The ship is dead," Nara said. Her voice was tired, so tired. "We take what we can carry and we run, again." That night Nara stood outside on the broken hull of her vessel and looked at the strange world around her. Mountains, trees, a sky with one small moon, and somewhere out there the natives of this planet were coming. She could see their lights in the distance, hear their primitive flying machines. General Park arrived with the first light of morning. He came in a helicopter with 20 soldiers. They wore green uniforms and carried weapons that Nara knew could not even scratch her ship's hull. The general was a short man with gray hair and calm eyes. He did not look afraid. Nara found that interesting. Most primitive species panicked when they saw the humans did not seem to panic. "I am General Park," he said through a translation device that Nara's crew had quickly made. "I represent the Republic of Korea and the United Nations of Earth. Who are you? Why are you here?" Nara studied him. She saw intelligence in his eyes, curiosity, and something else, something hard. "I am Captain Nara of the Remnant Fleet," she said. "We are refugees. Our ship was damaged in battle. We crashed here by accident. We mean you no harm." "What kind of battle? With who?" "The Dominion. They are our enemies. They have been hunting us for many years. They destroyed our world." General Park looked at the massive ship behind her. It stretched for 3 kilometers across the mountain valley. Even broken and burning, it was the most impressive thing he had ever seen. "Will these come here?" he asked. Nara paused. She could lie. She probably should lie. But something about this small human made her want to tell the truth. "Eventually, yes. They explore every system. They will come to your solar system in perhaps 20 or 30 of your years, maybe sooner." General Park nodded slowly. He did not look surprised. He did not look scared. He looked like a man who had just been given a problem to solve. "And this ship, can you fix it?" "No, the damage is too great. We do not have the resources or the time. We must leave before they find us here." Nara reached into her belt and pulled out a small crystal. It glowed with soft blue light. She handed it to the general. "This contains the basic information about the ship. Systems, layouts, simple things. Perhaps your people can use the metal for something, build better tools, better buildings." General Park took the crystal. He turned it over in his hands. "You are giving us your ship. It is worthless to us now. A broken shell, do what you wish with it." Nara walked past him toward the shuttle where her crew waited. She stopped and looked back one more time. "General, I am sorry. I am sorry that we brought danger to your world. They are powerful. They have conquered 40 planets. When they come, do not fight them. Surrender. They may let some of your people live as workers." General Park did not answer. He just watched as the shuttle rose into the sky and disappeared among the stars. Then he looked at the crystal in his hand. He looked at the massive ship lying in the mountains. 3 kilometers of alien technology, weapons, engines, shields, all of it broken, all of it waiting. General Park pulled out his phone and made a call. "This is Park. I need you to contact every government in the world. Tell them we have something they need to see. And get me every engineer in Korea, every scientist, everyone who knows anything about physics, weapons, or space." He looked up at the sky where the head disappeared. "She said do not fight," he said quietly to himself. "She does not know humans very well." He walked toward the ship. There was work to do, a lot of work, and only 30 years to do it. The first 5 years were the hardest. Countries argued. Politicians shouted. Some wanted to hide the ship. Some wanted to study it alone. Some wanted to destroy it before the aliens came back. But General Park had a gift for making people listen. He traveled the world with the crystal that Captain Nara had given him. He showed every leader the same message. They are coming. They have destroyed 40 worlds. We can fight together or we can die alone. In 2033, the United Earth Defense Council was formed. Every major nation joined. The ship, still lying in the Korean mountains, was renamed the. It was an old Korean name for a beast that protected people from danger. Dr. Sara was 32 years old when she first walked inside the. She was a physicist from Seoul National University. She had spent her whole life studying energy and power, but nothing had prepared her for what she saw that day. The ship was like a city. Long hallways stretched in every direction, rooms filled with strange machines, lights that still flickered even after years of damage, and at the center of everything, the fusion core. It was beautiful, a sphere of metal and crystal as big as a football stadium. Energy still moved inside it, weak and broken, but alive. "They said it cannot be fixed," General Park told her. He was older now. His hair was completely white, but his eyes were still sharp. Sara walked around the core. She touched the cold metal. She read the symbols that covered every surface. "They said they cannot fix it," she said slowly. "They did not say we cannot fix it." She spent the next 3 years learning everything about technology. She took it apart piece by piece. She studied how it worked, and then she started making changes. They had built the core to be safe. They had built it to last for hundreds of years without problems. They had built it to be quiet and clean. Sara did not care about quiet and clean. "We need power," she told her team. "More power than they ever imagined. If enemies are coming, we need to be strong enough to fight them." She rebuilt the core with human ideas. She added systems that they would have called dangerous. She pushed everything to the limit and then pushed further. In 2038, 7 years after the crash, this fusion core came back to life. But it was not the same core anymore. The energy output was 3 times higher than the original design. They had built a candle. Sara had built a sun. Her husband led the military side of the project. He was a former fighter pilot, tall and quiet, with hands that never shook. He had been chosen to command the when it was ready to fly again. "The weapons are a problem," he told the council in 2040. "The used energy cannons, very advanced, but they are completely destroyed." "Can we rebuild them?" asked General Park. "No, we do not understand the technology well enough. It will take decades to figure out." Paused. "But we have another idea." He showed them the plans. Missile systems, nuclear weapons designed for space, all human technology but scaled up to fit a ship the size of the. "The fought with precision," explained. Small, careful shots. That is not how humans fight. We fight with everything we have. We hit hard. We hit fast. We do not stop until the enemy is dead. The council approved the plans. Factories around the world began building weapons for the best engineers from every country worked together. Americans designed the missiles. Russians built the barrels. Japanese companies made the targeting computers. Korean shipyards assembled everything. The ship slowly changed. Systems were pulled out and replaced with human systems. The elegant alien design became something rougher, harder, more dangerous. By 2045, there was almost ready, but something was still missing. "We need a brain," Sora said. "The ship is too big for human crews to control alone. We need something that can think faster than us." Her team built HANA. The name stood for Human Adaptive Neural Array, but everyone just called her. She was an artificial intelligence, the most advanced ever created. She could control every system on the ship at once. She could make decisions in microseconds. She could learn and grow and adapt. The first time spoke, her voice was soft and calm. "Hello, Doctor, I am ready to serve." Sora smiled. "Hello, are you ready to protect Earth?" "I was built for nothing else." In 2047, 16 years after the crash, the rose from the mountains for the first time. It moved slowly at first, like an old man learning to walk again. But then the new engines fired. The new power core roared. The ship shot up through the clouds and into space. Captain stood on the bridge, his hands on the controls. Through the windows, he could see Earth below, blue and green and beautiful. "All systems are working perfectly," reported. "Weapons are online, shields are at full power. We are ready, Captain." Nodded, he looked at the stars ahead. Somewhere out there, enemies were coming. They had they had conquered 40 planets. They thought they were the strongest creatures in the galaxy. They had never met humans before. "Take us to the edge of the solar system," ordered. "We are going to wait for our guests." They turned and flew toward the darkness between worlds. Behind it, Earth continued to spin. Billions of people lived their lives, worked their jobs, loved their families. Most of them did not know about the ship that was flying to protect them. But soon they would know. Soon everyone would know. They were coming, and humanity was ready. The fleet came through the darkness like hungry wolves. 12 warships, each one a kilometer long. Black metal hulls covered with weapons. Red lights glowing from 1,000 windows. They had traveled across the galaxy to claim another system, another world, another species to crush under their boots. Overlord stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Iron Claw. He was massive, even for a 3 meters tall. Green scales covered his body. His yellow eyes saw everything. His claws could tear through metal. "Report," he growled. His tactical officer, a smaller named, looked at his screens. "One habitable planet, Overlord, third from the star. Primitive civilization. Early space age. They have some satellites and small stations, but nothing that can threaten us." Smiled, his teeth were sharp and yellow. "Another easy conquest. What about the ship? Our scouts detected it years ago." Checked his data. "Still here, Overlord. It crashed on the planet's surface. It appears to be damaged beyond repair. They probably abandoned it." "Probably abandoned it." His voice became dangerous. "Probably." Shrank back. I am scanning now, Overlord, looking for the ship." The screens flickered. Data flowed, and then made a sound that had never heard from it before. It was almost like fear. "Overlord, the ship is not on the planet anymore." "What?" "It is here, in space, near the 6th planet, and—" Claws trembled as he read the numbers. "The energy readings are wrong, they are impossible." Pushed him aside and looked at the screens himself. His yellow eyes went wide. The ship was huge, 3 kilometers long. That was normal for a vessel, but the power coming from it was not normal. It was not even close to normal. "That cannot be right," said. Check your equipment. I have checked it 3 times, Overlord. The ship's power output is 4 times higher than a dreadnought. The weapon's signatures are strange, not anything in our database. Stared at the screen for a long moment, then he laughed. Tricks, they are playing tricks. They want us to be afraid. Open a channel. I will speak to these cowards. The communication screen lit up, expected to see a face. Blue skin, 4 eyes, fear. Instead, he saw something else. A creature with 2 eyes, pale skin, short black hair. It wore a gray uniform with strange symbols on the chest. It looked small, weak, harmless. I am Overlord of the Dominion, announced. You are in possession of a vessel. Surrender it for salvage. Your species will be processed. The creature on the screen did not look afraid. It did not look surprised. It just looked at with calm, steady eyes. I am captain of the Earth Defense Fleet, the creature said. This ship belongs to humanity now. You are in violation of our territorial space. Leave now or be destroyed. Blinked, he looked just as confused. Did that thing just threaten us? Asked. I believe so, Overlord. Began to laugh, deep, rumbling laughter that shook his whole body. The other on the bridge joined in. The sound filled the ship. A primitive is threatening the Dominion. Oh, this is wonderful. This is the best joke I have heard in years. He turned back to the screen. The human was still watching, still calm, still waiting. Little creature, said, we have conquered 40 worlds. We have destroyed civilizations that were old when your species was still living in caves. What makes you think you can fight us? Captain tilted his head slightly. You have hunted them across the galaxy. They were afraid of you. They ran from you. Yes, and you should run too. No, the human's voice was quiet but hard. We do not run. We are human, and you made a mistake coming here. Stopped laughing. Something in the human's voice bothered him, something in those calm eyes. He said slowly, scan that ship again. Tell me everything. Worked his controls. The data came in, and with each new number his scales turned a little paler. Overlord, the hull is not material anymore. It is some kind of metal and ceramic mix, very dense, very strong. The weapons. I count 48 large projectile launchers, 24 missile batteries, and something else. Something at the front of the ship. I do not know what it is, but it has more power than our entire fleet combined. Grabbed by the throat. You are telling me that primitives, creatures who were throwing rocks at each other a few thousand years ago, have turned a broken ship into that. Could not speak, he just nodded. Released him and turned back to the screen. The human was still there, still watching. A small smile had appeared on its face. You have been working on that ship, said. You fixed it. We did more than fix it, Captain replied. They built this ship to explore, to survive. We rebuilt it for a different purpose. What purpose? The human leaned forward slightly. War. The communication screen went black. Stood very still for a long moment. Then he turned to his crew. All ships battle formation. Charge all weapons. We attack now before they can. The first round hit the Iron Claw at 10,000 kilometers per second. Did not even have time to finish his sentence. The war had begun. The first ship died in seconds. The round punched through its shields like they were made of paper. Shields were designed to stop energy weapons. They were designed to block lasers and plasma. They were not designed to stop a solid metal slug moving at 3% of light speed. The round went through the ship from front to back. It left a hole 5 meters wide. Air rushed out. Fire bloomed. The ship broke in half and spun away into the darkness. On the bridge the lieutenant watched her screens with sharp eyes. She was young, only 28, but she had trained for this moment her whole adult life. First target destroyed, she reported, adjusting aim for second target. Captain stood behind her, his hands clasped behind his back. His face showed no emotion. Inside, his heart was racing. "Continue firing," he ordered. "Give me enemy positions." The ship's AI responded instantly. 11 remaining vessels, Captain. They are attempting to form a defensive formation. Their weapons are charging. How long until they can fire? 32 seconds. Nodded. Destroy as many as you can in 30 seconds. Smiled. It was not a nice smile. With pleasure, Captain. Her fingers danced across the controls. This fired again and again. Each round was like a thunderbolt from an angry god. Each round found its target. The second ship exploded. The third lost its engines and began to drift. The fourth tried to dodge, predicted its movement, and adjusted the aim. The round hit it exactly where its reactor was located. The explosion lit up the darkness around Saturn like a small sun. The finally fired back. Red beams of energy crossed the void between the fleets. They hit the shields with tremendous force. "Shield status?" asked. 94%, reported. "Their weapons are powerful, but our new shield generators are handling the load." Allowed himself a small smile. Dr. Sora had spent 3 years designing those shields. She had studied how the shields failed against weapons. Then she had built something better. The battle continued. It was not really a battle anymore. It was a slaughter. They were not bad warriors. They had conquered 40 worlds. They had destroyed civilizations. But they had never faced an enemy like this. They had never faced humans. Humans who had spent 17 years preparing. Humans who had taken alien technology and made it their own. Humans who did not know how to surrender. "Overlord's ship is attempting to flee," announced. "He is moving toward the edge of the system." Watched the screen. The Iron Claw was damaged but still flying. If it escaped, would return with a larger fleet. He would tell the Dominion about Earth. More would come. "Can we catch him?" asked. "Yes, but we would have to leave the remaining enemy ships behind." Thought for a moment. 8 ships were already destroyed or disabled. 3 were still fighting. 1 was running. "Destroy the 3 fighters," he ordered. "Then catch the runner I want alive." This missiles launched. Unlike the missiles were slow, but they were smart. They twisted and turned through space, dodging defensive fire, hunting their targets with cold patience. The explosions came one after another. 3 more ships died in fire and silence. "Pursuing Overlord," reported. They turned and accelerated. The engines roared with power that no ship had ever possessed. Dr. Sora's improved fusion core pushed the massive vessel forward like a rocket. The Iron Claw tried to run faster. It could not. Within minutes, there was alongside the damaged flagship. Looked at it through the window. Smoke poured from a dozen holes in its hull. Fires burned behind broken viewports. "Open a channel," ordered. His face appeared on the screen. He looked different now. His yellow eyes were wide. His scales had turned pale. He looked like what he was, a creature who had just discovered he was not the strongest thing in the universe. "Surrender," said simply. "Power down your weapons. Prepare to be boarded." Stared at him. "You, what are you? What have you done to that ship?" "We made it better. Now surrender. I will not ask again." For a long moment did not move. Could see him thinking, calculating, looking for a way out. There was no way out. "Very well," finally said. "I surrender." Sergeant Han led the boarding team. She was 35 years old, born in, trained in the most difficult military programs Earth could offer. Her team was made of soldiers from 12 different countries. They had never fought together before today. They fought together now like they had trained for years. The ship was dark and filled with smoke. Warning alarms rang everywhere. Dead lay in the corridors, killed by the damage to their ship. The living fought back. They were big, strong, fierce. They had claws that could cut through armor and strength that could break human bones. But they were not ready for humans. His team moved through the ship like water. They covered each other. They worked together. When one soldier fell, another took their place. They did not stop. They did not slow down. They pushed forward until they reached the bridge. Stood in the center of the room. His claws were raised. Blood covered his scales, some of it his own. "Come then, little creatures," he growled. "I will die fighting." Shot him with a stun weapon. He fell to the ground, unconscious. "Target secured," she reported. "The ship is ours." Back on the captain sat down in his chair for the first time since the battle began. His legs were shaking. His hands were shaking. But his voice was steady when he spoke. "Status report. Battle complete, Captain. 11 ships destroyed, 1 captured. Crew casualties, 17 injured, 2 dead. Enemy casualties, approximately 8,000. 2 humans dead, 8,000. Closed his eyes. He thought about the 2 soldiers who had given their lives. He would learn their names. He would remember them forever. But right now, there was still work to do. "Prepare the prisoner for interrogation," he ordered. "I want to know where the rest of the Dominion is. I want to know everything." The war was not over. It was just beginning. Overlord sat in a small white room on Earth. His claws had been removed. His scales had turned gray with stress. He looked smaller than before, weaker. Captain sat across from him. Between them was a simple metal table, nothing else. "Tell me about the Dominion," said. Laughed. It was a hollow sound. "Why should I? You will kill me anyway." "We do not kill prisoners. That is not our way." "Not your way," leaned forward. "You just destroyed 11 of my ships. You killed 8,000 of my warriors, and you say killing is not your way." Did not blink. "You came to our system. You threatened to enslave our people. We defended ourselves. There is a difference." Stared at him for a long moment. Then something strange happened. He started to laugh again, but this time it was different. It almost sounded real. "You know what is funny, human? They never fought back. Not really. They had better technology than they had larger ships, more resources, but they were weak inside. They always ran. They always surrendered. They always hoped someone would save them." He shook his head. You took their broken ship and made it into a weapon. You saw us coming and you prepared. You did not run. You did not surrender. You waited for us with your teeth showing." Said nothing, he just waited. Sighed. "The Dominion has 300 warships. Ours is located in the system, 47 light years from here. But you do not need to worry about them finding you. Not for a long time. It will take years for word of our defeat to reach home." "And where did they go after they left Earth?" His eyes narrowed. "Why do you care about they left you to die?" "They left us a ship. They warned us about you. That is enough." He told him everything. The location of refugee stations. The path they had taken across the galaxy. The systems where they were hiding. When the interrogation was finished, stood and walked to the door. "What will happen to me?" asked. Looked back at him. "You will live, you will be comfortable, but you will never leave Earth." He walked out and closed the door behind him. Dr. Sora was waiting outside. She was older now, her hair streaked with gray, but her eyes were still bright with intelligence. "Did he tell you what you needed?" she asked. "Yes, we know where they are, both the Dominion and the—" Sora nodded slowly. "The Council has approved the fleet construction, 12 ships, all based on the design. They will be ready in 10 years. 10 years, it seemed like such a long time. But humanity had waited 17 years already. They could wait a little longer. In 2061, 30 years after the crash, the Earth Defense Fleet gathered near Mars. 12 ships, each one 3 kilometers long, each one carrying the combined power of human science and alien technology, each one crewed by the best soldiers, scientists, and engineers that Earth could offer. Captain, now 65 years old, stood on the bridge of the. His wife Sora stood beside him. They had spent their whole lives building this moment. All ships reporting ready, announced. The fleet is prepared for departure. Looked at the stars. Somewhere out there the Dominion waited. Somewhere out there the refugees were hiding, still afraid, still running. Before we go, said, send a message. Wide broadcast. Aim it toward the refugee coordinates. Paused. What message, Captain? Thought for a moment. Then he spoke slowly, choosing each word with care. Captain Nara, this is Captain of the Earth Defense Fleet. You were right, the came. You were wrong about the ship being worthless. Thank you for the gift. We have upgraded it. We are coming to find you. And when we do, we will help you take back your worlds. Humanity remembers its debts. He paused. Attach the combat footage from the Battle of Saturn. Let them see what we have become. Message sent, confirmed. Turned to his crew. Young faces looked back at him. Brave faces, human faces. All ships, he ordered, engage hyperspace engines. We are going hunting. The fleet disappeared into the stars. 47 light-years away, on a cold refugee station at the edge of nowhere, Captain Nara sat in her small room and stared at the wall. She was old now. Her blue skin had faded to pale gray. Her 4 eyes were tired. 30 years of running, 30 years of hiding, 30 years of watching her people slowly give up hope. Her communication device beeped. She almost ignored it, but something made her look. The message was strange. It came from the direction of that little planet where they had crashed so long ago. The primitive world with the one moon and the calm-eyed general. She pressed play. A human face appeared on the screen. She recognized it somehow. The same calm eyes, the same steady voice. She listened to the message. Then she watched the combat footage. She watched 12 warships die in less than 3 hours. She watched human weapons tear through shields. She watched small human soldiers board a flagship and capture its commander. She watched the impossible. Her hands began to shake. Her eyes filled with water. For the first time in 30 years, she felt something she had forgotten how to feel. Hope. Her door opened. Her old lieutenant stood there, his face confused. Captain, we received a transmission from. I know, Nara whispered. I saw it. What does it mean? Nara stood up. She straightened her old uniform. She lifted her head high. It means we are not alone anymore. It means someone is coming to help us. She started walking toward the door. It means the war is not over. But the humans, they were so primitive, how could they? Nara stopped and looked at her lieutenant with something like wonder in her ancient eyes. I asked myself the same question, and I think I finally understand the answer. What answer? Nara smiled. It had been so long since she smiled. We gave them a broken ship and told them to make tools from the scrap. They looked at that ship and saw something different. They saw a weapon. They saw a chance. They saw hope. She shook her head slowly. We build things to last, the build things to conquer, but humans build things to win. She walked out of her room and down the corridor toward the station's main hall. Others saw her coming. They stared. They had not seen their captain move with such purpose in years. Everyone, Nara announced, her voice strong and clear, prepare the station for guests. We are about to have visitors, human visitors, and I believe we have a war to plan. Somewhere across the galaxy, the human fleet flew toward them through the darkness. 12 ships, thousands of soldiers, one species that refused to give up. They had conquered 40 worlds. They had never conquered Earth. And now Earth was coming for them. The story was not ending, it was just beginning. And this time humanity would not be alone. This time they would fight together. This time they would win.